Hello everybody, it's Hippodippin here, and today we're going to be doing the continuation of our best of their types video. And really, today we're going to be doing a very fragile type. And before I get into anything, I want to say that I have gotten a few comments on social media, namely Twitter, that I'm kind of hitting the weaker and more obscure types first. And I was asked why I was doing that, and the reason is that I want to hit the more obscure types first before I go ahead and tackle the big ones. I want to work my way up there, because as you'll see in today's video, the rock type is very, very limited in what they can go ahead and do. And there isn't that many Pokemon that can go ahead and fill that role very well. And of the ones that do, they're an OU, and that leaves the lower tiers virtually almost nothing to work with in regards to a rock type Pokemon. And these are the types that I can go ahead and pound away quickly. Granted, I have taken my time with these videos, but that's usually after much consideration and just stuff has gotten in my way. I've been very busy lately, so I apologize about that, but that is my reasoning behind hitting some of the more obscure types. Granted, grass is kind of difficult to go ahead and judge, and so is dark, but you know what, I don't know why I did those first, but now I'm going to be hitting some of the more obscure types. I believe next week I'm going to be doing a normal. My next video will be normal type, so do watch out for that. But like I said earlier, the rock type is a very fragile type. Not many Pokemon can utilize the typing well, and the ones that do are offensive. Usually are offensive. And unfortunately, rock is built up to be a defensive type, and unfortunately it just cannot utilize that typing well defensively. It just can't. And so many of the rock type Pokemon are wasted, being this built up to be this huge defensive monster, when really it can be worn down so ridiculously quickly that it's not even worth it to use a defensive rock type Pokemon. But I digress. Let's go ahead and move on. They tend to be very physically defensive, like I just said, but they can't utilize that typing well. There's so many things that just destroy rock, not to mention all the special types, namely water and grass, that can just destroy rock in a single hit, so you are going to have to watch out for that. However, their stab has one of the best coverages in the game, and I say that very seriously. Just off the top of my head, it hits flying, fire, and ice very, very hard. All those types tend to be frail also, so that just adds to the amount of damage that rock does. However, its attacks are very inaccurate. Its strongest one that is, widely distributed is Stone Edge, and unfortunately Stone Edge only has a base accuracy of 80, and its base power is only 100. And to me, I feel like a base 80 accurate move should be at least 110, 120 power. But really, the rock type needs more accurate moves. There hasn't been a single accurate, 100% accurate move over 60 base power. That is ridiculous. That is very sad. And unfortunately, Game Freak is neglecting the type very much so. So if Game Freak were to get their act together, as if that would ever happen, but if they were, the rock type would benefit very much so. But most of them have average attack, so you're not going to see anything too crazy. Granted, Rampardos, I mean, you could use a Rampardos if you really wanted to, but I don't recommend that. Most have a lack of recovery move, limiting how effective they are at being sustainable. And that goes around to me saying, going back to me saying that they are fragile. And rock is a very, very fragile type, ironically. And it just can't support itself. And unfortunately, it's just the way it is. Most other defensive typings do it better. Steel sometimes suffers from the same stuff that rock does, but rock has it the worst, I feel like. And unfortunately, they cannot wall too many things due to most Pokemon being able to work around it. Most Pokemon that are weak to rock don't stay in on rock. And most Pokemon that are weak to rock are not going to switch in on rock, because granted, I mean, some Pokemon can maybe pull it off, but I mean, you're not going to see, say, like a Togekiss switch into a Regirock. It's just not going to happen. So you are going to have to watch out for stuff like that. And even if they are in with a rock type Pokemon, this is all Pokemon, not just flying, most would usually have some way to inflict some damage onto a rock type. So you are going to have to keep that into consideration when considering the rock type. So let's go ahead and move on. Enough talking. Let's go ahead and move on to the number 10, which is going to be Gigalith. And many people have forgotten this Pokemon, and unfortunately, rightly so. Gigalith has the unfortunate, just average rockness. I can't think of any other word to describe it. It just is so average for a rock type. Granted, it has great stats, but it like I said earlier, it's just destroyed by so many things. I don't know if it's even worth it. And unfortunately, you're going to see a lot of this during this list. And I love Gigalith. I like it a whole lot, but unfortunately, it's not very viable. So let's go ahead and take a look. Gigalith has defenses, of 85, 130, and 80, which, you know what? That's actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, its defenses are pretty great. Especially, having a 80 base special defense is almost unheard of in rock type Pokemon, and that's gonna really benefit you if you were to run Gigalith. And if you were to maybe put some kind of investment in it, maybe you could live and inflict some heavy damage. Because as you'll see, he has 135 attack to wreck shop with powerful moves. And what that's going to basically allow you to do is maybe take a hit and then retaliate with insane amounts of power. If you were to, say, land a Stone Edge, which is, a difficult task on its own. And like I said about earlier, it has above average special defense for rock types, so that's pretty good. This Pokemon works very well with a Trick Room team because its speed is only base 25, if I am correct. So if you were to maybe have a Trick Room active, you could go ahead and destroy with this Pokemon, no doubt about it. This Pokemon has insanely high attack. And fortunately, you're going to be able to use that to your advantage. So if you were maybe have Trick Room up or have some sort of speed control, I'm sorry, no speed control is going to save you from a base 25 speed. But like I said, Trick Room, if that's active, you can just destroy with this Pokemon, no doubt about it. However, this Pokemon does suffer from a few things, namely it has a very poor move pool. This Pokemon was difficult to come up with a set for because of how poor its move pool was, and you'll see that in the set. And it needs to be kept healthy to be effective, so you are going to have to keep that in mind when using him, if you are going to use him. For his set, you're going to want to run 252 in HP, 252 plus in attack or defense. Attack if you're going to be running Trick Room, and defense if you just want a general, bulky Pokemon. 4 in special defense, and a negative nature and speed. You are going to run Sturdy. It's a pretty standard, ability. It's going to allow you to leave at least one. And you're going to want to run Life Orb or Choice Band if you are going to be using a Trick Room, setup. But Leftovers is there for the more defensive one, just to go ahead and help you get HP back each turn. Maybe even restore your Sturdy, who knows. Stone Edge or Rock Slide for the first move slot. Stone Edge for that power, and Rock Slide for that accuracy. It's not even... It's sad that you have to choose between those, but that's the way it is. Earthquake, pretty standard move. It hits a lot of Pokemon hard, especially Pokemon that would be able to do some damage to Gigalith. Earthquake could do some damage to them. Heavy Slam for those fairies, and Heavy Slam isn't necessarily the greatest move in the world, but unfortunately for Gigalith, it's one of the best that he gets, so you are going to have to watch out for that. And Superpower, if you want that power, maybe if you're using a Choice Band set. or Stealth Rock if you want to be more defensive, more supportive. You can go ahead and definitely help out your teammates with that. And that's pretty much Gigalith. I don't have too much to say about him just because of how blatantly average he is. And that's just the way it is with a lot of these Pokemon. So let's go ahead and move on. Our next Pokemon is going to be, Regirock. Here we go. And yeah, Regirock is a very cool Pokemon. He's actually, in my opinion, a more advanced form of Gigalith. And Regirock does what Gigalith does better. Yeah, I mean, Regirock is just in general a better Gigalith in all sense of the words. He has access to recovery, as you'll see. Not, reliable recovery, of course, because it's a rock type. But you'll see that Regirock does have some sort of form to restore his HP. And he has a much higher defensive stat. So you are going to have to watch out for that. Let's go ahead and take a look, though. Amazing defenses of 80, 200, and 100. So this is the Pokemon to use in the lower tiers if you are going to want to use a defensive rock type Pokemon, as you'll see by those defenses. Out of this world, man. And Regirock's pretty cool, I have to say. He has access to recovery in the form of Drain Punch, and that's what I was talking about. I mean, absolutely nothing reliable, but you are going to be able to hit the opponent maybe and get some sort of HP back. So it's kind of so-so. I understand that fully, but this is really one of the best options Regirock has. He has great move tutor moves in ORAS, Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. And if you go ahead and look on Bulbapedia or any other Pokemon Resource, Cerebi, whatever, you'll see that Regirock indeed does get some great move tutor moves. He gets all the punches, namely, that's pretty much sealing the deal for how good Regirock is with those punches. He is awe-inspiring on the lower tiers. And what that means is he's able to take hits all goddamn day, and you don't have to be as crazy about keeping Regirock healthy just because of how high his HP is, is how high his defenses are. So you are going to go ahead and see that, especially if you use him in battle. I have fought against plenty of Regirock in my day, and let me tell you, it is a very difficult experience when you do not have the adequate means to deal with him. Granted, I mean, Regirock is capable of being taken over, but it's just the process that's a pain. Like I said, he does not suffer from needing to be kept healthy to be effective as much. He still suffers from it, but it doesn't suffer as much as, say, Gigalith. And he has a lack of other recovery besides Drain Punch. And Drain Punch is not a reliable form of recovery, because it all depends on how much damage you do to your opponent. I mean, your opponent could be 4 times weak to fighting, or it could 4 times resist it. So you do have to keep that in mind. For his set, you are going to want to run 252 in HP and 252 plus in defense, 4 in attack and a negative nature in special attack. And you're going to want to run Clear Body or Sturdy. Clear Body if you don't want to get intimidated. Say you want to do even more damage, or Sturdy to live any hit guaranteed 100% of the time, provided you are at full HP. Personally, I prefer Clear Body because Sturdy, chances are you just might live any one hit anyway. And Sturdy's going to be broken, and you're going to be left with a virtually useless ability. So I definitely would prefer Clear Body. It also prevents your speed from being lowered from Sticky Web. It's something neat to keep in mind. Not that Regirock is going to benefit from that because of how slow he is. I believe his speed is only base 50, but still, it's something neat to consider. Leftovers, just to go ahead and keep you somewhat healthy each turn. And Stone Edge, get that damage off, man. Gotta get that damage. And Stealth Rock, just to be more supportive, set up rocks. That's pretty much a rock type, ideal. And Drain Punch, Counter, or Hammer Arm. And I know I was really stressing Drain Punch, and I still am here, but Counter and Hammer Arm are very good options as well. I remember a scenario when I had my Snorlax in, and against a Regirock, of course. And I was just kept cursing and cursing and cursing until I got to max. And let me tell you, that Regirock revealed counter and hit KO'd. That didn't make sense. He one hit killed me. And I was blown away. Max defense, man. 4 times defense, and then he still blew me away. So you're going to have to watch out for counter, because it's becoming a little bit more popular now. But you are still going to have to keep in mind that Drain Punch is generally a better option in my opinion. And virtually your only option if you want to get any sort of recovery, so do keep that in mind. And Thunder Wave, another supportive move to go ahead and help your team form a speed control, and it also makes it so that your opponent has a chance to not attack, so that's always useful. And yeah, freaking Regirock, I swear, that's like I said with Gigalith, a lot of these Pokemon I can't talk too much about just because of how mediocre they are. And it's not necessarily their fault, it's Game Freak's fault. I mean, come on, Game Freak, you gotta boost these Pokemon somehow. You know, be a team player, man. But really, that's gonna be the clear, like, you know, what you're gonna see with a lot of these Pokemon. So let's go ahead and move on. Shuckle. Everybody loves Shuckle, and so do I. And that's why he's at number 8. So let's go ahead and move on. Take a look at Shuckle. He has the highest extreme stat distribution with defenses of 20 HP, 230 defense, and 230 special defense, which is absolutely crazy. And his high defenses make up for low HP. I mean, kind of. His high defenses certainly are wonderful for Shuckle, but his low HP makes it so that if you, say, had a move that inflicted a certain amount of damage over time, there's nothing you can do about that. You're gonna die if you say you're trapped in there or whatever. But really, say for example, Leech Seed or Toxic or something like that, you're gonna be losing so much HP per turn, it's ridiculous. And with such a low amount of HP, it's not even gonna matter how high your defenses are. There are gonna be situations when you know, benefit from it, but really that low HP is going to maybe hold you back a little. He can be diverse in EV distribution. I have seen Shuckle split right down the middle between defense and special defense, and I have seen Shuckle max attack, just hear me out, max attack, and they go ahead and use this move called Power Swap. And all Power Swap does was flip your defense and attack. Excuse me, he was max invested in defense, not attack. And what he did was he switched defense and attack and proceeded to destroy a lot of my Pokemon. Thankfully, though, I was able to wear him down thanks to his low defense then, because his attack was only like 10, or his defense was only like base 10. So keep that in mind. And he has a cool move pool. Definitely a cool move pool. He is the epitome of a team supporter. And I fully believe that that's what he was meant to be, even as far back as like Gen 2. And he is a good sticky web setter, so keep that in mind. If you want more of a bulky sticky web setter, which is definitely an option, Shuckle may very well be your guy. However, he has base 5 speed, and he's tied for the slowest Pokemon with, I believe, Munchlax. And that is pretty sad, I have to say. So you're gonna have to watch out for that. And he has lack of recovery, just like every other rock type on this list. You're gonna want to run 252 in HP, 252 plus in special defense, 4 in defense, and negative nature in special attack. You're gonna want to run sturdy, leftovers, and sticky web, slow down your opponent, stealth rock, inflict damage on your opponent, and toxic, wear down your opponent using, toxic that you would not be able to do with your attacks, and power split. And I know I mentioned power swap earlier, but you're gonna want to run power split as your 4th move, just so you can go ahead and average your opponent's attack and special attack with your own, bringing them down low. Let me freaking tell you, it's sad how low some of these Pokemon's attack and special attack get after power split with Shuckle. And there have been scenarios where I have used Shuckle and say, like, something crazy, just for example, anything goes. I've used Shuckle in there, and he just wipes the slate clean. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty much Shuckle. Let's go ahead and move on. Our next Pokemon is going to be Mega Aerodactyl. And the reason Mega Aerodactyl is so low on this list is because I have yet to use Mega Aerodactyl effectively, or have seen anybody else use Mega Aerodactyl effectively. Mega Aerodactyl is a good example of a Pokemon that's good on paper, but just unviable when used. And I just can't, I can't justify using him, especially when he takes up a Mega slot that another Pokemon could use much more effectively. Mega Aerodactyl is probably one of the lower end of the Mega spectrum, along with like Banette, I want to say, Mega Banette, just because of how terrible it is. I mean, it's not bad, but I mean, you can do much, much better, trust me. And Mega Aerodactyl is outclassed, I want to say, by a few other Pokemon, like Mega Charizard X, maybe. But really, Mega Aerodactyl just can't stand up to the opposition, and the fact that it takes up a Mega slot is reason to be wary of using him. But let's go ahead and take a look regardless. He has base 135 attack and base 150 speed. He has access to Tough Claws, which is like a Life Orb but stronger, with moves that make contact. So you are not going to get the Tough Claws boost with, say, Earthquake, which is a very common move I see on Aerodactyl, but you are not going to get the Tough Claws boost on that. He has lack of good and reliable stab. I believe that's supposed to be a negative, so consider that a negative. But he does. He has a very, very noticeable lack of good and reliable stab. I see most people using Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace, of all things, on a Mega Aerodactyl. You are going to have to definitely watch out for that if you are going to be running him. I mean, Mega Aerodactyl may be scary if you have a Pokemon 4 times weak to flying, maybe. But really, you're not going to have to worry too much when coming up against a Mega Aerodactyl. I mean, I've never, ever been scared of a Mega Aerodactyl as far as I can remember. And anybody who's used him has not used him effectively, and I am in that category. I just can't use Mega Aerodactyl effectively. I have tried. Trust me, I have. And unfortunately, it's just lackluster in every sense of the word. And if it seems like I'm, crapping on this Pokemon, I am, trust me. But he is number 7 on this list for a reason. And that reason is that he's on the lower end of the good rock attackers, which is a very small number, but he is on the lower end of it. And as such, he is the first rock type offensive Pokemon on this list. So do keep that in mind. He is good on paper though, but in actual practice, he's poor, in my opinion. And like I just said earlier, he has a lack of a good move pool. Gonna move on. He has Mega Slot is better used on another Pokemon, which is what I already said. I mean, he is outclassed in general by a lot of things, and I feel like your time could be better spent using a Mega that could actually return the investment. Like say Mega Charizard X. A lot of things. Mega Manectric. It just depends on what your team needs, really. So let's go ahead and take a look at Aerodactyl set. Mega Aerodactyl set. Whoops. Well, that was dumb of me. I forgot a Mega Aerodactyl set. I am so sorry. But yeah, it would go something along the lines of this. You're going to want to run 252 plus in attack and 252 in speed. You are going to run 4 in HP and a negative nature and special attack. And Tough Claws is going to be your ability. So deal with it, I guess. It's not a bad ability. I just feel like Mega Aerodactyl doesn't have that great a move pool to go ahead and utilize it. But regardless. Let's see, what's next? I did ability. Oh, you're going to want to run Aerodactyl Light, obviously. And for his moves, you're going to want to run Stone Edge or Rock Slide. Depends on what you want for accuracy. Earthquake, even though I said it's not the best, it's still a strong move that Mega Aerodactyl can make use of. You might want to run Fire Fang. Fire Fang's pretty cool. And Aerial Ace there just for the stab, just for the Tough Claws boost, and really Flying type is a good stab, like I said in my flying video, but it just, Mega Aerodactyl just has a lack of things to go ahead and hit hard with a lackluster stab. But it is still stab, so you can still make use of it, absolutely. But yeah, that's pretty much going to be Mega Aerodactyl's set, and I am so sorry for not having a slide for it. I don't know what happened, it must have just slipped my mind. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on. Our next Pokemon, as you might have briefly glinted at, is going to be Cradily. And let me tell you, this is one of my favorite Pokemon from Hoenn. I love Cradily so much, even though a lot of people hate it. I love him. I really do. He's so cool. He's very, very niche in what he can do. Among rock types, that is. And what that is a specially defensive Pokemon that is capable of healing itself. Blows your mind, right? That a rock type would be able to do that. But Cradily does manage to pull it off, so let's go ahead and take a look. He is a reliable special tank in the lower tiers. He has access to plenty of recovery, which is awesome. I mean, that's pretty good. And he has the ability to use great status moves, namely recover, toxic. Two very, very common moves, I know. But among rock types, that is rare, especially recover. And he is a great team supporter, and he is actually viable in the higher tiers, which you can't say a lot about these rock type Pokemon. But Cradily is definitely viable in higher tiers. I have seen Cradily be effective in OU, and if that blows your mind, it should, because that's incredible. And unfortunately, Cradily can be worn out easily by powerful physical moves, namely Fighting type. You are going to have to watch out for that. Steel, whatever, a lot of things threaten Cradily, especially the more common ones. So you are going to have to watch out for that, definitely, and keep that in mind when using him. But still, I definitely recommend using Cradily. He's a very, very cool Pokemon, and I enjoy using him. So let's go ahead and move on. For his set, you're going to want to run 252 in HP and 252 plus in special defense, 4 in special attack, and a negative nature in attack. And you're going to want to run Storm Drain. What Storm Drain allows you to do is just absorb water type moves and transfer it into a boost in special attack. This is awesome. You could maybe predict a switch, or I'm sorry, not a switch. You could predict a water type move, switch Cradily in, get a boost, and you know what, maybe force your opponent to switch, because now you're going to be hitting even harder with Giga Drain, and whatever, if you wanted to run like Sludge Bomb or something like that, you're going to be doing some damage. So that is freaking awesome. Storm Drain, definitely recommend using that over I believe Suction Cups was his other ability. You're going to want to run Leftovers, get as much HP back per turn as you can. That is very important. Giga Drain, pretty standard move on a Cradily. Recommended to the 9s, let me tell you. Very good when you're under pressure, I've noticed. Stealth Rock, another rock type, stealth rocker on this list. They're very common, I've noticed. And Cradily is able to go ahead and be that effective team supporter. So Stealth Rock fits on there pretty nicely. And Recover, get back as much HP as you can. And Stockpile or Toxic. Toxic to wear down your opponent where you could not wear him down yourself. And Stockpile just to boost both of your defenses by one stage. And personally, I feel like Stockpile is the one to go for. Stockpile definitely, helps you out in the long run. If you could maybe get 2 or 3 Stockpile set up, you would be fine. No Pokemon would be able to hit KO you. I keep saying that. One hit KO you. I'm so sorry. But really, if you get 2 or 3, and the max you can get is 3. If you can get 3 up, you are sitting just fine and dandy. And not much is going to be able to tip that over. And Cradily is a very, very decent Pokemon when it comes to staying in, so do keep that in mind. But yeah, it's going to be Cradily, one of my more favorite Pokemon on this list. Let's go ahead and move on. Our next Pokemon on this list is going to be Tyrantrum. And if you've been on my channel for any extensive amount of time, you may have noticed I have done games with Tyrantrum. And I love Tyrantrum. And he has proven himself to be very viable, number one. Number two, able to go ahead and destroy. Absolutely destroy. And number three, he just does a good job while he's at it. And he is this far up the list just because of what he's able to do. And everybody who runs him does this, but he does it so well that I am perfectly just enthralled with how good of a Pokemon Tyrantrum is. So let's go ahead and take a look at him. He is a bulky attacker with an attack of 121 and defenses of 82, 119, and 59. He has access to good boosting moves, which is great. He has access to Dragon Dance and Rock Polish, which he can definitely take advantage of. Definitely. He has an awesome hidden ability that may be released soon, you know. I believe Rockhead. Yep, that's it. And I mean, if you can go ahead and get a Rockhead Tyrantrum and run Head Smash on it, I mean, there's nothing that would be able to stand up against that effectively, I believe. So that would be really, really neat to see in practice. However, it has a slow speed that is not impressive. His speed is only base 71, so you are going to have to watch out for how slow he is. But after a Rock Polish and a certain amount of EVs and speed, you should be able to outspeed anything slower than 400. With the certain spread that I give, you will be able to outspeed anything slower than 400, so that is awesome. It does require speed control if you are not going to boost this speed at all, although I recommend doing so. Speed is very important in Pokemon, as many people know. And if you're able to control the opponent's speed, you are able to control how many Pokemon you can kill with another one, with your own Pokemon, that is. And speed control is essentially one of the major components of the game. And not many people realize that. I don't see too many people taking advantage of Thunder Wave, you know, Sticky Web. As annoying as that is, it's a very, very effective method, especially if you do not have a spinner. And if you are able to get rid of those hazards, so be it. But if you're capable of keeping them on there, your Pokemon are going to be doing so much more damage more effectively and faster than the opponents, which is all that matters. Anyway, back to Tyrantrum. He is fairly predictable and able to be worked around, and all that means is your opponent will be instantly able to recognize what it is, you know, if you were to send it out, especially an experienced player. Tyrantrums tend to run a pretty standard set, and mine certainly is standard, but I love it so much that I feel like a lot of people should be taking advantage of it, more people than it is right now. So let's go ahead and take a look at his set. You're going to want to run 168 in HP and 252 plus in attack. And you're going to want to run 88 EVs in speed. And what that's going to allow you to do is, after you set up a Rock Polish, you are going to be able to outspeed anything slower than 400. So basically anything without a Choice Scarf that is common. So you are going to be able to do some hefty damage with that. Especially after you set up a Rock Polish. His ability for now is Strong Jaw, but if you were to go ahead and get a Rock Head, that would be even better. So for right now, let's go over the set for Strong Jaw, and then I have one in my head for Rock Head, so that it prevents recoil. But for Strong Jaw, you're going to want to run Weakness Policy. You're going to want to run Stone Edge, or Dragon Claw, or Outrage. It gets Outrage as a tutor move in ORAS, so that is awesome. And I would prefer to run Dragon Claw just because of how much more control you have over the situation. With Outrage, say the opponent has a Fairy-type Pokemon, you're stuck in there, and you're bound to be taking some very, very heavy damage. So you are going to have to watch out for that. But yes, Outrage is a very viable option to run as well. I prefer Dragon Claw though, just for that accuracy and 80 base power isn't bad once you're boosted +2 with a 252 plus in attack. And Rock Polish, like I said, to boost your speed even further and make sure that you are going to be able to, outspeed a whole lot of Pokemon. Earthquake, pretty standard move, just there to go ahead and hit Pokemon hard that Tyrantrum wouldn't be able to otherwise, namely like Steel-type Pokemon. Earthquake would handle that for you. And Ice Fang or Fire Fang, really I can go either way on this. I prefer Fire Fang for those like Fairhorns if you're going to be running an OU. And Ice Fang hits those ground flying types hard like Landorus or Gliscor. So it's a really toss up between the two. I would maybe consider running Ice Fang. Just because it hits a lot more things hard. And if you're +2, you're still going to be doing a lot of damage with your moves. So you are going to probably want to run Ice Fang. That is what I would want to run. And for the Rock Head ability, if it were to get released, you would still want to run Weakness Policy, but you may want to consider running Head Smash, and Head Smash would be an absolute nuke. And with no recoil, you could go ahead and fire off as many as you want, and your opponent could do virtually nothing to protect against it. I mean, sure, it can maybe stall you out, but still, you're going to be able to hit them as hard as you want, as often as you want. I mean, that's awesome. And you're not going to have to worry about recoil at the same time. Rock Polish, still a viable option. And Earthquake and Ice Fang and Fire Fang still apply, but I would definitely run Rock Head as opposed to like Outrage or Dragon Claw or Stone Edge. And that would definitely help you out in the long run, I feel. But yeah, that's Tyrantrum, and I love Tyrantrum so much. He's one of my favorite Pokemon, as some of you may know if you watch my videos, but I do love me some Tyrantrum, and he does prove to be a very effective Pokemon, and just in general, a good one. So let's go ahead and move on. Number 4 is going to be Barbaracle, and Barbaracle, I believe, is a very good Pokemon, and I bet not a whole lot of people saw this one coming, but just in the way that he's able to, do his job, which is a very standard one, do his job well is pretty nice. Namely, when you think of things like Shell Smashers, you think of Cloyster, but Barbaracle does it very, very well. And you know what? He deserves some sort of mention, I feel like, because Barbaracle is very underused. Not in the tier, necessarily, but not a whole lot of people use him, and I feel like that's a mistake. A lot of people should use him. And he just is able to go ahead and destroy teams after a Shell Smash. He does require team support, but if you can get that going, he just cleans up shop for you. Not many Pokemon are going to be able to stand up to Barbaracle after a Shell Smash, so let's go ahead and take a look here. Barbaracle is very balanced, I've noticed when researching him. He is a base 72, 105, 115, 54, 86, and 68 stats. And all that means is that he's able to, take some hits. He's fairly balanced. And all that's going to allow you to do is just take hits and retaliate with a Shell Smash and then hurt them very hard. And their Pokemon are definitely going to be taking a hurting. You can quote me on that, I swear. And like I said earlier, he is a very good Shell Smasher. He is able to go ahead, set up a Shell Smash, and then your opponent is going to have to sacrifice 1 or 2 Pokemon. So you are going to have to watch out for that if you're going up against one. He has a great move pool, as opposed to a lot of Pokemon on this list. Barbaracle is very fortunate in having access to really cool moves. Specifically like Night Slash, X-Scissor, Razor Shell, stuff like that. Stuff you wouldn't expect a Rock-type Pokemon to be able to access, but Barbaracle does, and he does it very, very well. He will be able to take down at least one enemy, and after a Shell Smash, something will be going down. And he's somewhat hard to stop once he gets going. You are going to require a very, very fast Pokemon, and a Pokemon that would be able to deal super effective damage to him, so do watch out for that. However, he's very predictable. Barbaracles are unfortunate in their case of being very, very easy to discern what's happening. Chances are, if this Barbaracle comes in and you switch out, it's going to set up a Shell Smash. And you're going to have a lot of trouble from there. Personally, going up against a Barbaracle, I would recommend maybe just attacking it outright, and then it goes for a Shell Smash, and then you sacrifice something, and then you bring something in that would be able to do the rest of the damage, because you don't know. It could be a Focus Sash for all you know, and you are going to have to think ahead several turns just to go ahead and think about how you're going to be able to deal with this threat. I know that's a problem I have. I don't necessarily think ahead too much, and that is a problem of mine, but if you can work past that, it will help you in the long run. So let's go ahead and take a look at his set. 252 in attack and 252 plus in speed. You're going to want to max out that speed, get as fast as you can, because once you go ahead and do that, not too many Pokemon are going to be able to outspeed you without a Choice Scarf, so do keep that in mind. 4 in defense, pretty standard, pretty good, I like it, and a negative nature and special attack. You are going to want to run Tough Claws, which is the best ability on Barbaracle, I feel like, because unlike Aerodactyl, Barbaracle's moves do make a contact and they do a lot more damage thanks to the ability. And you are going to want to run White Herb, Life Orb, or Focus Sash. Any one of those items would be great. If you want White Herb, you can maybe run a slightly more defensive Barbaracle and definitely be rewarded for it. Or you can go ahead and run Life Orb and just deal out as much damage as you can. Personally, I feel like Life Orb is the better option just because you are going to be able to, number 1, boost yourself, and number 2, inflict even heavier damage. And personally, you're not going to last much longer after Shell Smash happens. So you are going to definitely have to watch out for that. As for his moves, Razor Shell. He does not have access to Waterfall, so Razor Shell is what you're going to have to deal with, unfortunately. Razor Shell, Stone Edge, Shell Smash, of course, and Night Slash / X Scissor. And you could really run either one, Night Slash or X Scissor. They are both very viable. Night Slash to maybe hit those Pokemon weak to dark like Psychic or Ghost. Just widen your range of things that hit hard. Or X Scissor to go ahead and hit other dark type Pokemon themselves. Or, again, Psychic types, whatever. It really depends on your personal preference or maybe what your team needs. If your team needs a dark type move or a bug type move, maybe run Night Slash or X Scissor, whatever, doesn't matter. But you are going to probably want to stick somewhat close to this set because the set is I feel like it's very good. And it would benefit you in the long run in the game if you were able to keep Barbaracle, safely tucked away until you can weaken your team and then you can destroy with him. So do keep that in mind. Our next Pokemon is a toss between regular Diancie and Mega Diancie, and they do very different things. Regular Diancie is a rock type wall, rock / fairy type wall. And Mega Diancie is a sweeper, in all sense of the word. So let's go ahead and take a look. But they are very different Pokemon. And like I said, they are essentially 2 Pokemon in one. Diancie's stats are 50, 100, 150, 100, 150, 50. A lot of 50s. But really, all that should say to you is a very capable defensive Pokemon. Mega Diancie's stats are 50, 160, 110, 160, 110, and 110. So you can see a definite boost to almost all his stats. So that is awesome. That is really cool. That's indicative of a very, very potent sweeper. And I don't know why he's not higher in the on the ratings tiers list, to be honest with you. But like I said, Diancie is an effective wall, and Mega Diancie is a powerful force to be reckoned with because the combination of rock and fairy proves to be very effective in, corralling some of the other Pokemon in the game. And he has a very good move pool. Very, very effective move pool. However, he is 4 times weak to Steel, so you're going to have to watch out for like Bullet Punches and just Steel type moves in general. Especially with Mega Diancie with the lower defenses. You are going to definitely have to watch out for that. But I feel like Mega Diancie serves a very different role. You're not going to keep Mega Diancie in on like a Scizor or something, but you do keep that in mind. Mega Diancie should be played differently than regular Diancie, and if you have, say, Diancie with a Mega Stone, do not play it like a regular Diancie. Play it like a Mega Diancie, and it will benefit you more in the long run. So let's go ahead and take a look at his sets. I have 2 sets, regular Diancie set and Mega Diancie set. So let's look at regular Diancie set. You're going to want to run 252 in HP and 252 in special defense. That fairy type will help you in the end, especially in the specially defensive side. You are going to want to run 4 in defense, negative nature and attack, clear body, that awesome ability, and leftovers for your item, just to get as much HP back per turn as possible. Moonblast, a pretty standard stab type move. It's pretty nice, I have to say. It's very, very cool to go ahead and see, fairy rock type Pokemon be effective, and Moonblast definitely helps it do that. Heal Bell, to support your team, get rid of those pesky statuses, and in general is a very good move. It has a very poor distribution between Pokemon, but I feel like Heal Bell, it fits Mega Diancie or Diancie pretty well. And Stealth Rock, another Stealth Rocker, just to go ahead and set up those hazards when Pokemon switch in. So Stealth Rock, pretty good move to go ahead and have on a supported Pokemon. And for the last option, you can either run Diamond Storm or Toxic. Toxic just to help you wear down Pokemon even more, or Diamond Storm just to inflict damage, just to inflict straight up damage. And it's definitely a mix between those two, but I have to feel like if I were to choose, I'd probably choose Diamond Storm, just because of the damage potential. But Toxic is a good option as well. So you are going to have to think about what your team needs and what your team would most benefit from before choosing a move from regular Diancie from this set. So let's go ahead and look at Mega Diancie. 252 in special attack and 252 plus in speed. You're going to want to run 4 in special defense and a negative nature in attack. Magic Bounce is a very, very good ability. Bounces back hazards. If you can maybe Mega Evolve on the first turn when your opponent is trying to set up something, you will bounce it right back in their face, and that is awesome. You're going to want to run Diancieite, obviously, to Mega Evolve. And you're going to want to run Moonblast, Diamond Storm, Psyshock or Psychic, and Calm Mind. Calm Mind just to keep boosting yourself up, and Psyshock to inflict damage on the physical side, or Psychic just to be a really straightforward special attacker. And Diamond Storm and Moonblast I already went over, but again, they are awesome stab type moves. And if you can go ahead and take advantage of those, you will be the victor on the battlefield 99% of the time. And that is really, really neat. So do keep that in mind when you are going to be playing with Mega Diancie. Our next Pokemon is going to be Terrakion. And Terrakion is a very, very cool Pokemon, I feel like. And I'm telling you, sorry guys, I got cut off there, but what I was saying was that I was having a very difficult time trying to judge where Terrakion should fall between the number 1 slot and the number 2 slot. And unfortunately, I feel like Terrakion fits better in the number 2 slot, just because the number 1 Pokemon is very, very capable, and I feel like even more capable than Terrakion. Unfortunately for Terrakion, it does have its drawbacks, and that is what puts it at number 2. But let's go ahead and take a look at it. It's all about Terrakion then. It is a very good base 129 attack, and it is fairly bulky due to its base 91, 90, and 90 defenses. And it is fast enough with a base 108 speed. And all that means is that he is able to go ahead and outspeed a lot of things thanks to that 108 speed, which is higher than most Pokemon. It would still require some form of speed control just because of how many things would be able to outspeed it. But really, 108 speed is nothing to be crying about. I feel like it's faster than a lot of Pokemon, and definitely helps, definitely comes into play when using Terrakion. He does have a very extensive move pool, which is very, very beneficial, and it just improves the quality of how good Terrakion is. He is much better than the lower end of this ranking system, I feel like. And just goes to show how off balance the rock typing is with how they go ahead and organize what Pokemon is good and what Pokemon isn't. I mean, it's very, very heavily leaning to, the top, 3 Pokemon, I feel like. So you are going to have to watch out for that. He has the ability to wipe through weakened teams like butter. Just wipe it through like butter. And I mean, really, Terrakion does its job well, which is to inflict damage, heavy damage, as hard and as often as it can. And it is very difficult to switch into. If you've ever played Overused and played against a Terrakion, you'll know it's very unsettling to have to switch into a Terrakion, because all that means is you're going to have to, maybe go ahead and sacrifice something and then go ahead and switch into something. But really, it's very, very difficult to switch into a Terrakion. It just is. And you know what? Not a whole lot of Pokemon on this list can go ahead and say that, but Terrakion really means it, and it is very, very hard to switch into. I will say that. Pokemon that are faster than it will typically be able to do heavy damage. Terrakion suffers from having a lot of weaknesses. Very, very many weaknesses. And the poor combination of fighting and rock does not benefit anybody. Granted, it has good stab moves, but it just can't, it can't take hits well at all, unless they're neutral or resisted. But Terrakion has an unfortunate amount of weaknesses that would be able to be exploitable by his opponent. So if you are going to be using Terrakion, you will have to be considerate about that. So let's go ahead and take a look at his set. 252 in attack and 252 plus in speed. You are going to want to max out that speed. Get it as fast as possible. I will say that in earnest. You're going to want to run 4 in defense and a negative nature in special attack. Justified is the only ability it gets, so if you can maybe predict a dark type move and switch into it, it's pretty nice. And Choice Scarf, Life Orb, or Expert Belt are very good items to go ahead and run on this Pokemon. Choice Scarf being to boost your speed even more, pretty much outspeed everything in the game, especially in the OU tier. And Life Orb just to inflict damage, heavy damage, and the ability to switch up your moves helps, I feel like. And Expert Belt, it's pretty nice to go ahead and bluff a choice item or, whatever, Focus Sash maybe. But really, Expert Belt is a very good bluff item, and it comes in handy sometimes, I feel like. But yeah, Life Orb, if I had to choose out of 3, I'd probably say Life Orb. The ability to just do hefty damage is too good to miss, too good to give up, I feel like. And Life Orb is a good option to go ahead and have. And for his moves, Stone Edge, I know it's inaccurate, but it does have pretty good power. Zen Headbutt or Earthquake, 2 very, very viable moves, although I feel like Zen Headbutt would be a little bit more beneficial. Hit some of the Pokemon that hit it hard, like other fighting type Pokemon. Zen Headbutt would be there to go ahead and help you out. And Earthquake to go ahead and hit Pokemon that would be more difficult to hit with your stab. So Earthquake's there as a general, good backup move, pretty good. And the combination of rock and ground is a very, very good combination to go ahead and have. And I kind of did something crazy here. I gave him 2 fighting type stabs, close combat for that raw power, and double kick to go ahead and break sashes. Say, for example, you're in against a weak normal type that's just, there to go ahead, set up screens or whatever. Double kick would be able to go ahead and kill that Pokemon in one move. You would be able to eliminate them and their Focus Sash, and that would allow you to go ahead and just be able to really bring it in home with your opponent, and not much is going to be able to, you will surprise people with that move, I will say. If you ever watched Cybertron with his VGC content, double kick is a very viable move to go ahead and have on Terrakion. If you're looking for example, Cybertron's a very good one to go ahead and look to. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much Terrakion. A lot of these Pokemon I don't have too much to say about, and it's just the way it is, unfortunately. But this next Pokemon you will see has been featured before, and he is very, very good at what he does. So, without further ado, our last Pokemon is going to be Tyranitar and Mega Tyranitar. And I have featured these guys before, but like I said, these guys just do their job well. Not many Pokemon I feel like can do their job as effectively as Tyranitar and Mega Tyranitar, and especially since that they are two very, very different Pokemon. Mega Tyranitar is run very, very differently than regular Tyranitar, at least it can be. And the fact that they are just so viable just brings to light the just the appeal to Mega Tyranitar and regular Tyranitar. Not too many Pokemon are able to do what they do as effectively as these two Pokemon. So let's go ahead and take a look at them. Two very, very different Pokemon in one. Regular Tyranitar's base stats are 100, 134, 110, 95, 161, and Mega Tyranitar's base stats are 100, 164, 150, 95, 120, and 71. So you can see a very, very significant increase in stats from regular Tyranitar to Mega Tyranitar. And since it sets up Sandstorm, your special defense is going to be out of this world. Hands down, I really feel like it. And it can be offensive or defensive or both. Tyranitar is a very diverse Pokemon. Usually you're going to see the base form be more defensive, since it can use items other than a Megastone. You may see them run like Assault Vest or Leftovers or whatever. And Mega Tyranitar does tend to be more offensive with that crazy attack stat of 164. So yes, you are going to be seeing a lot of diversity in there. He is slow, but it can be boosted through Rock Polish or Dragon Dance or whatever, really. But yeah, it's just so incredible to go ahead and see Tyranitar be this effective that easily. And very cool to go ahead and see that. Another weakness is 4 times weak to fighting. You are going to definitely have to watch out for that fighting type. But say you get like 2 Dragon Dances up, you won't even have to worry. Just go for, Stone Edge, Dragon Claw, Earthquake, whatever, and you will be able to pretty much overcome any obstacle in your way. And that's what makes Tyranitar and Mega Tyranitar so absolutely astounding, is their ability to deal with situations in different ways. You could essentially be ready for almost any situation with Tyranitar or Mega Tyranitar. So if you can go ahead and maybe set it up right or predict it correctly, they will come in utmost handiness to you, and I completely feel that way. So let's go ahead and take a look at their sets. Enough of my rambling, I'm very sorry about that. For regular Tyranitar, you're going to want to run 252 in HP and 252 plus in special defense, 4 in defense, and a negative nature in special attack. Sandstream is his ability, and you can go ahead and run Assault Vest or Leftovers. Assault Vest if you just want to soak up damage like a sponge, or Leftovers if you want to go ahead and, just get HP back per turn. I probably prefer Leftovers, to be honest, because think about it, the Sandstream is pretty much going to activate, and the Sandstorm is going to make it so that you're essentially having an Assault Vest. Granted, you can add on another Assault Vest for even more crazy, defense buffs, but I feel like Leftovers would benefit you more in the long run, definitely. So you are going to have to watch out for that. If you're going up against Tyranitar, if you're using him, by all means, use Leftovers or Assault Vest. Crunch, pretty standard move. Dark type stab is pretty good, and it just really helps out. I feel like it's a very good move to go ahead and have on Tyranitar. Fire Punch just to deal with Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn would wall this Pokemon without Fire Punch, no doubt about it in my mind. And Fire Punch comes in handy in other times too, against like Scizor or other Pokemon that would be able to come in maybe on Tyranitar and stay in maybe. Maybe not expecting the Fire Punch, but Fire Punch is a very, very good option to have. And Stone Edge, Good Stab, and Earthquake. Pretty standard. Pretty standard moveset, I feel like. But yes, this is the way you will see them run, and for good reason. Tyranitar does what it does well, thanks to the Sand and its good stab. So let's go ahead and move on to Mega Tyranitar. Now, Mega Tyranitar is run a little bit differently. 252 plus in attack, 252 in speed, 4 in HP, negative nature and special attack. Sandstream, you know, is the ability he has, and Tyranitar-ite is obviously going to be your item. You're going to want to run Crunch, Dragon Dance just to boost yourself up, which is awesome. Excuse me, and Stone Edge, you know, Good Stab again, and Earthquake. You know, pretty general. Excuse me, sorry about that. Pretty general move. Hits a lot of things hard that Mega Tyranitar would not be able to hit hard without, like Steel types. You are going to need some kind of ground type move or fire move. You could actually replace Earthquake with Fire Punch if you needed to. If you wanted to deal with Ferrothorns more easily, or Scizors more easily, just off the top of my head. Pokemon that would be, you know, difficult to deal with if you had not had a fire type move. Again, it all depends on what your team needs. Maybe you want to run Mega Tyranitar with a Earthquake. By all means, if you want to run it with Fire Punch, go right ahead. It all depends on what your team needs. So that is pretty much Mega Tyranitar. And with that being said, thank you for watching this video. Thank you very, very much. I do love making this series. It's very fun. It does take a lot out of me, and right now I am very tired for talking for an hour, probably more. But I just love this series so much, and thank you for watching. Any sort of support you give means a very, very great deal to me. As a creator, it's very cool to go ahead and see that your work is appreciated by at least one person. So that really makes it worthwhile to me. And thank you guys for watching. I appreciate the support that you have given me, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. So thank you very much for watching. I'm Hippodippin', and I'll see you later.